Hi, welcome to the Future of Finance podcast. I'm your host, Marissa Wood with Union Financial Services, and today we're going to be talking about the truth about your 401k plan and some IRA tips, some frequently asked questions about retirement plans. And we are joined today with Lisa Green, my business partner. So welcome back, Lisa, to your second episode.
Thank you, Marissa. It's great to be here again. Thank you so much for having me.
So in our last episode, we talked about, some retiree strategies. And now today we're talking about before you get to retirement. And, this episode might be more geared towards the working professional, the younger family, the younger business owner that has a 401k or has an IRA and doesn't quite understand it and wants to learn a little bit more about, should I be doing something else? I have a 401k. I'm contributing to it. I think I'm maxing it out. Is there something else I should be doing? Is there a better strategy? And that's something that we hear a lot with the clients that we meet with on a daily basis. And so it's what I wanted to address today, and you can shed some light on those strategies.
Yes, thanks. So the 401k got started back in 1978, and it was a way for highly paid executives to save on tax dollars. That's actually how it was why it was created. They stopped the profit share. A lot of companies stopped profit sharing. Of course, the pensions have gone by the wayside. Mm-hmm. And the 401k was started for a very specific reason. And now it seems
save on taxes.
To save on taxes
Okay.
for highly paid individuals to save on taxes.
Okay.
So that their contributions to that 401k will be tax deferred. So they didn't have to pay the tax, the entire tax bill right then and there when they were getting their paycheck.
Okay.
Highly paid individuals. So it seemed to have worked very well in the very beginning, and then it almost took on a life of its own, where every company was offering a 401k to every employee, which is great in moderation. Because the 401k now seems to be the primary source of individual saving. Now,
sometimes the only investment people have.
Only investment. And they continue to put more and more money into that 401k. Now, companies do match your contributions. The average is up to 3% of your salary. So we see people, well, I'm putting in 10% of my salary and getting that 3% match. Is that the right strategy?
Sometimes not.
Yeah. The main issue, and I'll jump a little further, when you just said it's sometimes the only plan, the only investment that individuals have. And we ask our clients, we say, why is that? And they say, well, there's a number of reasons. My company offered it. I didn't know what else to do. It gets automatically deducted from my paycheck. And therein is the driving force behind that 401k.
Okay. Because if it's automatically removed, they're forced into saving.
Yes.
And they almost feel like if it's not deducted from that paycheck, they're going to spend it probably.
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense.
It's a wonderful option for some people that aren't disciplined. Okay. But when we see people that have all of their money in 401k or IRA, that money is then taxable when they go to withdraw it. Years from now, 20, 25, 30 years from now, do you know what the tax rate is going to be?
No, I have no idea.
Do you think it's going to be higher or lower?
I have no idea. Could be higher, just based on the trillions of dollars in debt the country currently has.
Right. So when you put in money to a 401k and you systematically have that withdrawn from your paycheck, but you have no idea what it's going to cost you in the future when you go to withdraw it in retirement.
Yeah.
It could be a huge tax burden.
That's a good point.
It's a very good point, and nobody seems to think about that. What about my future?
Mm-hmm.
Imagine putting money into a bucket every week, every month, and not knowing if when you go to take that money out of that bucket, are you going to get half the money?
Yeah, 70%, 60%, 50%, you don't know.
Right.
That's very interesting.
So why would you put all of your savings into a vehicle that's going to be taxed at a future date at a rate that we have no idea what it could be?
Well, the reason people put all their money in there is because they don't know about any other options. And a lot of people, too, that we meet with don't even really understand their 401k. And it always drives me crazy meeting with clients and prospective clients that say, yeah, I have this with my employer, and I don't know, I just picked the target retirement fund because I have no idea. No one explained which mutual funds would be best for my risk tolerance. And I say, is anyone reviewing this with you on a quarterly basis or at least once a year? No idea.
No.
And, that's problem number one, in my opinion, because, oh my gosh, that's sometimes a lot of money to have in an account that you don't even understand. But, we do go over company retirement plans with our clients, even if we're not managing them and they're with an active employer. We will walk you through which options that we think would be in your best interest, best risk tolerance. But yeah, so when we think about how much you should be contributing to that 401k plan, I know there's no magic number, but do you have a suggested amount that they should contribute?
I like to suggest, now once again, it depends on your age and how far out you are from retirement, but I like to suggest you contribute what that employer is matching. Because yes, that is free money, and by all means, take advantage of that. But there are other options that you can have, even when we just talked about the automatic, systematic withdrawal of the paycheck going to the 401k. Well, we're in an age where we can do that electronically. Say if you get your paycheck and you put in $1,000 into your checking account. Well, that money can be systematically withdrawn into an investment that is not IRA, 401k, tax-deferred money.
Okay.
You need to have a nice balance of qualified money and non-qualified. Non-qualified is non-IRA, non-401k.
Okay, so qualified means designated for retirement, essentially.
Yes, because you can't touch it until you're 59 and a half. That is the other.
Okay.
That can be a bit daunting for some people if they had intentions of buying a house and they've put most of their savings into their 401k.
Yeah, we need different buckets of money. We need some that are going to be taxable in retirement, some that you can access prior to retirement, and then some that are going to be hopefully tax-free. And so say if we, contribute, let's say they're matching 4% at a job. Okay, well, I'm going to contribute 4% because I know I'll be doubling my money just with that employer match, saving a bit on taxes now. But then, with another 6-7% of my income, where should I be investing that? That's, a question we get.
That is, and that's a good question. And that's an individual appointment that will dictate what your situation is, what your goals are. Do you already have that house? Do you already have the cars that'll sustain you for 5 to 10 years? That's a very good conversation, but that is an individual conversation. And once again, if you put all of your savings into that 401k, it could be a problem in the future, and it could be a problem now if you needed to access it.
Because there's no liquidity there.
No, not at all.
Okay.
Not at all. And that's not why as I said earlier, the 401k was not designed to be the primary savings tool that it has become. But now let's talk about when you leave that job.
Yeah. So, a lot of times you leave a position, you go to a different employer, and you're not fully retired yet, you're getting a new job, we meet with people all of the time that say, oh, I think I have a 401k with a previous employer there and a previous employer there, and I can't remember even the amounts or who's managing it. I think I have one there. And it kind of gets away from you because a lot of people don't realize that when you leave an employer, it's in your best interest to roll over that 401k into an individual retirement account, an IRA. And that's something that we help individuals with every day because it's in your best interest. You know, the benefits of rolling over a 401k when you're no longer at that employer. Well, first of all, you're going to have more investment options with an individual retirement account. Sky's the limit on the funds that we can invest it in. We're not, given one sheet of a few mutual funds at your employer to pick from. We can really get creative with designing a portfolio that's good for you. So more choices, you're going to have more control. Most likely you're going to have someone actively managing it if you have a financial advisor. It's not just thrown into a company plan where you're a number, not even a name. You're going to have that personal connection where an advisor will be actively managing it for you. And then you're also going to have more flexibility because say if you need to make a withdrawal from that account in the future, once you're of age, you can choose your tax withholding amount, whereas a 401k, it's mandatory 20% must be withheld. And so it just makes sense. And plus it's organization. It's having that account consolidated with your other retirement funds, knowing where it is, keeping your beneficiaries up to date on that, keeping your address up to date. It's huge. And it's something that is probably the most common thing that we see.
I agree.
And now, if someone has, or they think they have, a 401k 5-10 years old from a previous employer, is that something that we could still help them roll over?
Of course. Of course.
Who initiates it? What's kind of the chain of events there?
So what happens is, first of all, when we meet with the client and we find out what their goals are, what their desires are, and what they want that money to do for them, then we can give them options to roll that 401k over into an IRA. It is a non-taxable event.
Okay.
It is a transfer directly from one company to another. The client never takes possession of that money unless they choose to, but then they're at risk for taxable event. But we initiate the transfer paperwork. We take care of whether it's with Vanguard or Empower or Fidelity. We're so used to dealing with these companies and rolling over a 401k that it's second nature to us. And maybe at that time we can do something with that 401k that can provide that client with income down the road, what we talked about on a previous episode, that income producing investment. That could be a game changer for somebody in retirement or 10 years off from retirement. You can say, wait a minute, that old 401k can provide me with income in a few years from now when I do decide to retire, and it had just been sitting there. It's real nice.
Yeah.
That's a very nice option. But the point is like you said, people just tend to leave that 401k, and we've seen people come in with statements that they were never even opened.
Yeah.
And they say, I don't know. It comes in the mail. I throw it in a drawer. I'm bringing it now to you. And we're happy to consolidate those old 401ks into one IRA and make it more tax efficient in the future.
Sure.
Because, as we talked about, 401k, IRA, you're saving tax now, but that future tax rate could be daunting. And if you intend on leaving that to a beneficiary, there are specific rules on that now that most people aren't aware of.
Yeah. And so, if we don't want to put all of our money into a 401k or a tax-deferred IRA right now, what about using the, golden Roth IRA that everyone says, get a Roth IRA. You might have heard this from your dad or your uncle or your neighbor or your friend. whatever you do, get a Roth IRA. And I want to just explain in a real quick matter what a Roth IRA is and why they are so amazing. And so think of that 401k IRA that you're going to be putting money in now to save taxes on now. And then in the future, everything will be taxable. Now, the Roth is pretty much the opposite. And so the money that you contribute to a Roth is not going to save you on taxes today. If you're making $100,000 and you contribute $5,000 into your Roth, your taxable income is still $100,000. But that $5,000 Roth IRA contribution, let's say, grows and grows and grows over the years. By the time you retire, that $5,000 is now $50,000, hypothetically. And that $50,000 account is available to you 100% tax-free. The initial amount you put in, all the interest it's earned, is available tax-free in the future, regardless of what tax rates are. And so that is a great position to put yourself in for the future, to have an account that you can access completely free of tax. And so when we speak to people about putting your money into different buckets, put some into the 401k or an IRA, and then of course you want to max out that Roth IRA any year that you can, that your income allows you to do so, and financially you can. But unfortunately, the limit is $7,000 a year for those under 50 years old. But if you can afford to do so, maxing out that Roth IRA will do your future self such a favor.
It's amazing. The Roth is an amazing investment.
Yeah.
And we do see a lot of people that, unfortunately, they don't know that that's available to them. They only know their company-sponsored plan. Well, we can open up a Roth with any of our investments, whether it's brokerage accounts or whether it's fixed index annuity, that can be titled Roth.
Okay.
And it grows and is withdrawn tax-free. Tell me that everybody should have that
Absolutely.
in their portfolio, because it's going to be a godsend in the future where, once again, we don't know what taxes are going to be in the future. And to have that Roth investment that comes out tax-free is just a great thing.
Absolutely.
It's one of those things that every person should have, and every young person has the capability and the opportunity to get that going.
Yeah, because it benefits you to have it invested for a long period of time, to really take advantage of those tax-free earnings. And so the younger you could start, the better, of course. And a quick misconception that I wanted to address is the Roth IRA or non-qualified is just the titling. It's the tax classification titling of an account. It's not the actual investment. Where it's invested depends on what your goals are. We can invest that Roth IRA or IRA in mutual funds, bonds, stocks, annuities. You can invest it in a CD or a bank account. The holdings of that investment are dependent upon what your goals are, but the titling is what is a Roth IRA or a traditional IRA. Because a lot of people will say, well, I have a Roth IRA and, it does really well. Well, okay, where is it invested? What vehicle is it invested in? And so that's what depends on an individual basis. But when we recommend a Roth, we're just talking about the tax classification of it.
Right. And these are, we're going over things that we in the business think that the average person knows. And that's not the case. And we can't assume that people know what that Roth IRA does. One of the reasons that we're trying to explain it right now is that Roth IRA will come out tax-free, and you will be happy in the future. And you will think about this and say, I'm so glad I opened that Roth.
Yes.
As the tax rates might be, 50% in 30 years from now.
Yeah.
But it's truly a great investment. And as we're talking about these different types, 401k, Roth, non-qualified, which is non-IRA,
Non-retirement money.
non-retirement. Our goal is to get that word that you need diversification.
Yes.
There are multiple types of investments available to everyone. And you can start a Roth IRA with $1,000. That's why I say most people can do that. You know, if you don't, spend money on coffee every day, you can do that.
Yeah.
So it's just, the point is diversification, different understandings of what your investments can do for you now and in the future is vital to everyone's financial future.
Yeah. Regardless of what age you are, if you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, older, you need to have diversification of tax classifications and investment vehicles, different risk tolerances, different levels of liquidity. We need money for now. We need money for later. And that's something that we do for our clients. Regardless of how much they're starting with, we're going to make sure that it's diversified properly. And one other thing, too, I wanted to address is what a Roth conversion is, because some people might have heard of the term Roth conversion. And all that is converting a traditional type of retirement account, 401k, something that you got a tax savings on by contributing to, converting that into a Roth where it will be tax-free in the future. And that event of converting from traditional to Roth is a taxable event. So if you're converting $10,000 of traditional money into Roth, that will be $10,000 of taxable income to you that year. You have to pay the taxes on it either now or later. So if you pay them now, you can then move it into your Roth. And, Roth conversions are a great tool if you're concerned about taxes in the future, or if, let's say, for some odd reason, one year you're in a low tax bracket. You want to take advantage of the fact that you're in a low tax bracket one year. We can convert a portion of that account a little at a time to not cause too much of a tax burden all at once. We can shave off a little bit at a time into a Roth. And not for everyone, but it is a strategy that we're using with a lot of our clients for the future.
Right. And of course, that has to do with their accountant
Yes.
as well. Their tax advisor needs to be able to say, well, this is a good time. And then we can make that transition happen. But of course, it's a tax question for their accountant that it probably would be a simple phone conversation. Shall I do this? And tax advisors love the Roth.
Absolutely.
As they should.
And we're not tax advisors. We don't give tax advice, but we do work with a lot of tax accountants, CPAs. We can work with the client's CPA. It's good for everyone to be on the same page because, they're going to advise you, hey, contribute this amount this year to save on taxes, and we can make that plan cohesive. And another thing, too, if you're not with a company that offers a company retirement plan or a 401k, let's say you're self-employed. We have a lot of entrepreneurial self-employed clients. We understand because we're self-employed. There are investments such as the SEP IRA, individual 401k, where you can create your own retirement plan for yourself without a company. No, you won't get the match, but we can help you do so because you still do need to save for the future.
Exactly.
So that's kind of just a little bit of history on the good and bad parts about a 401k, the importance of rolling it over when you leave the job, how much we think the average person should contribute to their 401k, and then where else we should be investing that money besides your company retirement plan.
And it can be systematically done, just the way a 401k plan works, with after-tax money, as we talked about. It can just come right out of your checking account, directly into your investment vehicle.
To stay disciplined.
And because that's what people need.
Yeah, that is true.
That is what people need.
Yeah.
They need to be able to get that investment going, and of course, the magic word of compounding. That is so important.
The eighth wonder of the world.
There it is. And that's how you build wealth.
Yeah.
the compounding. It's systematic, consistency, compounding, and then people your age can retire happy.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for shedding some light on the history of the 401k and a couple of the strategies we use with our clients. And if you have a 401k plan with a previous employer that you would love to learn about some options on rolling it over, or a current employer that you just want explained better to you, or if you want to take advantage of that Roth IRA, we'd be happy to have a conversation with you. Feel free to go to our website, union-financial.com, click on our Schedule a Meeting link. That'll take you right to our personal calendar to have a complimentary phone call or meeting with myself or Lisa, and we can help you have a better financial future. I'm Marissa Wood with the Future of Finance podcast, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Capital Management, LLC, BCM, a registered investment advisor. BCM and Union Financial Services are independent of each other. Insurance products and services are not offered through BCM, but are offered and sold through individually licensed and appointed agents. The opinions expressed by Marissa Wood and guests on this show are their own and do not reflect the opinions of this radio station. All statements and opinions expressed are based upon information considered reliable, although it should not be relied upon as such. Any statements or opinions are subject to change without notice. Investments involve risk and, unless otherwise stated, are not guaranteed. Past performance cannot be used as an indicator to determine future results. Any strategies mentioned may not be suitable for everyone. Information expressed does not take into account your specific situation or objectives and is not intended as recommendations appropriate for you. Before acting on any information mentioned, please consult with a qualified tax or investment advisor to determine if it is suitable for your specific situation. This program is designed to provide accurate and authoritative information with regard to subject covered.